Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall. Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson.
And this right here is why Kamala Harris lost.
The woman who helped raise us was a small business owner. I know who small business owners are. I know what they do. They are the backbone of America's economy. And for too long, we've overlooked their value to the economy as a whole, much less to the economy of neighborhoods and communities. So that's why my plan, and it's a new approach, is about tax cuts for our small businesses so that they can invest in themselves and grow, and in the process, invest in communities, invest in neighborhoods, and strengthen our economy overall. So those are some examples. It's about a new approach, a new generation of leadership based on new ideas and, frankly, different experiences. I bring a whole set of different experiences to this job and the way I think about it than Joe Biden.
Some voters, though, might ask, you've been in the White House for 4 years. You were vice president, not the president. But why wasn't any of that done the last 4 years?
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson.
And this right here is why Kamala Harris lost. This one phrase, this one conversation. I'm not going to say this one conversation. This is why she lost. That was the question asked by millions of America. Why hasn't that been done in the last 4 years? And you know what's crazy? If Kamala Harris would have said, we were focused on doing this right here. We were focused on X, Y, and Z for the past 4 years. We were focused on this right here, so we couldn't focus on this. That's an even more respectable answer. And if you don't respect that, there's nothing you can say. If a politician is focused on other things, they're focused on other things. But what Kamala Harris is going to respond with will blow your mind. Listen to this.
The last 4 years.
Well, there was a lot that was done, but there's more to do, Anderson. And I'm pointing out things that need to be done, that haven't been done, but need to be done. And I'm not going to shy away from saying, hey, these are still problems that we need to fix.
There was a lot that was done, but there's more that needs to be done that will be done. That's not specific enough. That's not going to cut it. That's why people did not vote for her. And this is not my personal opinion. I'm going to keep saying this. But this is the American people saying, we can't really trust you. We can't take your word seriously because we're saying you have these economic plans. Why didn't you do them? Can you give us one specific thing? One specific thing. Oh, we were focused on the border crisis in the past 4 years. Oh, we were focused on child care in the past 4 years. Oh, we were focused on, I don't know, war relations with other countries in the past 4 years. Something. Give us something that we can say, okay, Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party focused on, or Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, they focused on this, so maybe they didn't have time or didn't focus on the economy, but she said she's going to do X, Y, and Z. But no, we get a vague understanding, and this is why people didn't vote for her. But let's continue.
I want you to meet Jackson Weiss. He's a student at Drexel University from Flourtown, Pennsylvania, registered Republican. Says he's leaning toward voting for you, but has yet to make a final decision. Jackson.
Thank you, Anderson.
Hey, Jackson.
Thank you for taking the time to be here, too, Vice President Harris.
You too. Thank you.
Regarding the rapid increase in the migrant population, how will you ensure that every immigrant is integrated into American society safely? What benefits and subsidies will you provide them with, and how long will these benefits and subsidies last for an individual? Most importantly, will the American citizens' taxes pay for these benefits and subsidies? And if so, how much money will be allocated?
Well, thank you, Jackson. Let's start with this. America's immigration system is broken, and it needs to be fixed. And it's been broken for a long time. And part of what we need to do is always prioritize what we need to do to strengthen our border. I will tell you, I'm the only person in this race among the two choices that voters have. I've personally prosecuted transnational criminal organizations in the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career making sure that our border is secure and that we do not allow criminals in, and we don't allow that kind of trafficking to happen and come into our country. And as my opponent has proven himself, He would prefer to run on the problem instead of fix the problem. You may know there were some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress working with others that came up with a border security bill that would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border. Those border agents are overwhelmed. They need the support. They need the backup. It would have allowed us to have more resources to stem the flow of fentanyl. I don't need to tell this state and people around the country what is happening in terms of the scourge of fentanyl and how it is literally killing Americans. It would have put resources.
And the problem with all of this is that I shouldn't even have to say this. I really shouldn't have to say this. I'm not going to go into details about if Kamala Harris has done border work in her career as a prosecutor. I don't know, or as a senator or whatever. I don't know. I haven't looked into that. That's a very specific thing to look into. I will say a lot of people on the right have been saying that the border is a problem. People are trafficking drugs over the border. They are probably trafficking children, God forbid, over the border. People have been saying this for the past 4 years, but the number of illegal immigrants have just gone up. And it's not that they just gone up. They quadrupled in 4 years. So if people have been saying this, Kamala Harris, why do you just now acknowledge it? A lot of the problems that people have with Kamala Harris is just her timing. It's really her timing. People have been saying these issues have been happening for years. Why do you just now say, oh yeah, you're right? It just feels like I don't know, man. I don't know. It doesn't sit with me well, but anyways.
Into stemming the flow. It would have given more resources to prosecute, to investigate and prosecute transnational criminal organizations. It would have done a lot of good. Donald Trump got wind of the bill and told them, don't put it forward. He killed the bill because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. We have to have a secure border, and we have to have a comprehensive pathway for citizenship. And that includes requiring people, hardworking people, to earn citizenship and do it in a comprehensive, humane, and orderly manner.
Let me ask you about that. I mean, you talk about the bill that Donald Trump quashed. That was in 2024. You talk about the bill he tried to get passed in 2021. That wasn't able to get passed. 2022, 2023, there were record border crossings. Your administration took hundreds of executive actions. It didn't stem the flow. Numbers kept going up. Finally, in 2024, just in June, 3 weeks before the first presidential debate with Joe Biden, you institute executive actions that had a dramatic impact, really shut down people crossing over. Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration.
Kamala, and this is why this conversation, this type of answer is why people did not vote for Kamala Harris. This type of answer, what she's about to do. He said, why didn't you do that in 2022 and 2023? The way she's about to answer this question is exactly why a lot of Americans, well, she didn't sit really popular with the majority of Americans. She's not going to acknowledge his question. She's going to say, we're trying to do it now, practically. She said, we didn't do it then. I'm not going to tell you why we didn't do it then, but we're trying to do it now. If you think I'm wrong, here.
Why didn't your administration do that in 2022, 2023?
First of all, you're exactly right, Anderson. And as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. In fact, the numbers I saw most recently, illegal immigration.
But if it was
low.
that easy with that executive action, why not do it in 2022, 2023?
Because we were working with Congress and hoping that actually we could have a long-term fix to the problem instead of a short-term fix.
You couldn't have done one and both at the same time?
Well, here's the thing. We have to understand that ultimately this problem is going to be fixed through congressional action. Congress has the authority and the purse. I hate to use DC terms, but literally they write the checks. Part of the issue is in order to really fix the problem at the border. I was just at the border recently talking with border agents. You know what they talk about? Yes, they are overwhelmed. They're working around the clock. And the other thing that they talk to me about, we need more judges down there to deal with asylum claims.
And you know what? I have my own personal opinions about the way she just answered this question and the legality of it and the power of the purse and who has the authority to do what. But I would give Kamala Harris this. At least she gave a specific answer. At least she gave a specific answer on what's happening at the border. He had to pry it out of her. But she's giving a specific answer now. But the problem is, when Americans hear you speak, a lot of them aren't going to give you the same grace that I'm giving you right now. They're not. They're not going to give you 3, 4, 5 times to answer a question before they say, okay, we'll accept that. No. It's one time. Why didn't you do this? They're going to hear the first answer and say, no, I'm not accepting that. That's BS. That's what's going to happen. I'm giving Kamala Harris right now a lot of grace. She finally answered the question. My opinion on her answer, I don't agree with it. But at least she's giving a specific answer. Let's continue.
We need more personnel down there to deal with processing. But Anderson, and that...
You need more personnel because the numbers of illegal immigrants skyrocketed under your administration. Anyways.
That's where Congress kicks in terms of dedicating the resources to actually fixing the problem. We have dealt with it such that, to your point, we now, as of today, as of our visit, have lower undocumented immigrants and illegal immigration than Trump when he left office.
That's true.
But we need a permanent solution, and that requires bipartisan work.
Do you wish you'd done those executive orders in 2022, 2023?
I think we did the right thing, but the best thing that can happen for the American people is that we have bipartisan work happening, and I pledge to you that I will work across the aisle to fix this long-standing problem. I think the American people are demanding it on both sides of the aisle, and it's time we actually put the partisan approach to this aside. We know what can work.
Well, let's talk about this compromise bill that you want to pass if you're elected. You said that's going to be a priority. It includes $650 million in funding for the border wall. That's something Republicans wanted. That was part of the compromise. Under Donald Trump, you criticized the wall more than 50 times. You called it stupid, useless, and a medieval vanity project. Is a border wall stupid?
Well, let's talk about Donald Trump and that border wall.
Kamala. He said you called the border wall stupid, and he said, do you still think that? And you're laughing. And another thing that really confuses me, if I'm being honest, people blame Donald Trump for deportation, dragging people out of homes, deporting people who are illegal immigrants. They blamed him for that for years. ICE, they blame Donald Trump for that. But now, Kamala Harris is saying that the reason illegal immigration is so high is because Donald Trump refused to sign a bill of some sorts. So my thing is, which one is it? Is he deporting people or is he making them stay in America? I don't know which he is because according to Kamala Harris, or not just her, but the Democratic talking point, he's doing both. He is both deporting illegal immigrants, which is wrong, and he's also making them stay in America, which is also wrong. I don't know what to think, and this is why it's just too much confusion. I don't know what is going on at this party, man.
So remember, Donald Trump said Mexico would pay for it? Come on, they didn't. How much of that wall did he build? I think the last number I saw was about 2%. And then when it came time for him to do a photo op, you know where he did it? In the part of the wall that President Obama built.
But you're agreeing to a bill that would earmark $650 million to continue building that wall.
I pledge that I am going to bring forward that bipartisan bill to further strengthen and secure our border. Yes, I am. And I'm going to work across the aisle to pass a comprehensive bill that deals with a broken immigration system. I think Jackson's question, part of it was to acknowledge that America has always had migration, but there needs to be a legal process for it. People have to earn it. And that's the point that I think is the most important point that can be made, which is we need a president who is grounded in common sense and practical outcomes. Like, let's just fix this thing. Let's just fix it.
No, Kamala, it doesn't work like that. You can't just say, let's just fix it. Of course, I agree with fixing it. Don't get me wrong. But people want an answer, especially if you want people to vote for you. there has to be some level of honesty there at least. Like, you can't just say, let's just fix it. Why did it happen? Why don't you say why it happened? You're asking for their vote. They're just asking you questions on what happened during your time as a vice president. I think that's a fair thing to ask. Why did it happen? Can you give us a specific reason why? It would at least make sense if you said, I thought this was right at first, but I was wrong. People probably wouldn't accept that, but at least they'd be like, at least she's being honest. You're kind of just brushing over it. And this is why a lot of people did not vote for Kamala Harris. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. It's LFR Jojo. I'll see you later.